So, for this bit of news, I'm going to look to PW Insider, as PW Insider reports that an update on superstar Billy Graham. We need to keep praying for the infection and for his heart rate and blood pressure to stabilize. He is in great spirits and is ready to get well and serve God. Pray for his lungs too, please. What I just read is from superstar Billy Graham's wife, Valerie, as Superstar is, I believe he was hospitalized at some point last week. And luckily he is in recovery, but is still not in the best shape. So if we can, as the world of wrestling and a wrestling community, if we can pray for the best and send our positive wishes to the family and friends of WWE, former WWE champion and WWE Hall of Famer, superstar Billy Graham, then we can hope that, or all we can do now is hope that Billy Graham does recover and is able to keep his spirits alive. But I send nothing but positive thoughts and prayers to the family of superstar Billy Graham. Now we move to something a little bit interesting, as it is always interesting when we get some contract updates, and this is from Fightful. Contract update on, first, Matt Cardona. There has been a lot of speculation due to the fact that his wife, Chelsea Green, is heading back to WWE. But there is nothing that indicates right now that Matt Cardona is heading back to the former company, to his former employer. But with the Royal Rumble right around the corner, it is entirely possible that we could see the return of Matt Cardona to WWE, especially with the likelihood of Chelsea Green coming back at the Rumble. You never know. If Cardona does not come back at the Rumble, then I would rule out Cardona until after WrestleMania. But I think that there has to be a reason why. Maybe things have gotten a little bit quieter for the one-time King of the Indies, in my opinion, over the last couple of months. And I think that the reason for that is the possibility of a return to his former home, that being WWE. Kylie Ray is somebody who worked a recent tryout for WWE and also was one of the outliers on a recent edition of Main Event last year, working under the name Brianna Ray against Dana Brooke, I believe. As of right now, she is still a free agent and has not signed with WWE, but we're keeping our nose to the grind, I should say, and wondering if that will change soon, as WWE has been looking at TV-ready women to help add depth to the women's division. And Kylie Ray would be a perfect addition to the women's division if WWE does go that route. Speaking of people that had a tryout last year, Casey Navarro is another person that had a tryout last year, but as of right now, Casey Navarro has not signed with WWE, as Casey Navarro was featured in the same tryout as Kaylee Ray and Vincent and Dutch. Vincent and Dutch were featured in the crowd on an episode of NXT last year. And much like Kaylee Ray was featured on Main Event, we have not seen much of Casey Navarro since his tryout or heard much about him. But there is no guarantee that he is not signed, but right now there is nothing that says that he is. Cheeseburger and Rhett Titus are two former Ring of Honor talents that are rumored to have something to do with AEW, since the relaunch of Ring of Honor will be coming very soon, with the weekly television show coming to Honor Club. As according to Fightful, Cheeseburger has appeared on both AEW and Ring of Honor as of late. As of this fall, we're told that Cheeseburger, who goes by CB, is still a free agent, as is Rhett Titus. Both men are a free agent currently, but we will likely hear more about both men in the coming weeks and months as we learn more about what the future holds for Ring of Honor on Honor Club. The last update on that front is on the part of Colby Corino, whose contract just recently expired with the NWA, as Colby Corino was rumored to be on the radar of WWE, but WWE could not speak with Colby Corino until his contract with NWA expired. But as of right now, it seems that he is likely headed to WWE, as his NWA contract expired in early January. So it is likely that he will be heading to WWE very soon, which is ironic, or I guess maybe not ironic, but important to note that his dad also works as a trainer down in NXT. So, I mean, to be fair, that could be a reason that influenced Colby's opinion to go to WWE, to be able to work with his dad, as his dad has been a trainer down at NXT for the last couple of years. But Colby Corino has been praised as one of the members of the future of wrestling, in my opinion, or as somebody with a bright future in the professional wrestling business, and has spent the last couple of years with the NWA, but is one of the many people who have been looking for a new home, not just with the NWA, but in general, one of the many people that have been looking for a new home, as 2023 is still a brand new year. One note that I did not get to, within the ranks of the last video, even though we did talk about the Bloodline ceremony and the acknowledgement ceremony being cancelled, one bit of news that I did not get to is that apparently high-ranking executives in WWE knew long before the report of this from earlier this week that The Rock will not be able to get into in-ring shape to be able to compete at WrestleMania this year, which some people have written off as garbage, but other people are now adding to it as fact, and one of those people that are adding to it as fact is Dave Meltzer, who has said that WWE executives knew long before the report from earlier this week that it was very likely that The Rock was not going to be able to compete at WrestleMania this year. And because we're hearing two sides of it, even though I'm leaning more towards what we're hearing from Dave Meltzer and others, I believe it was Dave Meltzer and maybe PW Insider, both reported that The Rock will likely not be competing at WrestleMania this year. It is very likely that we will find out for certain this week if The Rock is not competing at WrestleMania this year, and because I know I only said one side of it, but the other side of it is that there are some people that think that they are spreading this report to try and ward people off of The Rock's return. So that's why they're feeding out this news, and that The Rock will actually return. But I will put it out here now, in my opinion, if The Rock does not return on the go-home shows to the Rumble or at the Rumble, then more than likely The Rock will not be competing at the at WrestleMania against Roman Reigns. It does not completely write off the possibility of The Rock inevitably competing in the not-too-distant future, but it does warrant the question of, if The Rock does not compete at Royal Rumble, the WrestleMania, when will he compete again? I don't know, but right now, it is impossible for me to say one way or the other. Even though Dave Meltzer does seem to think that The Rock is likely not competing, he does not write off the idea of WWE spreading this news to try and ward off the to try and ward off the suspicion from fans that basically people are anticipating The Rock being there instead of thinking that he will be, if that makes sense. But all we have to do is, it adds a bit of intrigue into the go-home shows of Royal Rumble, next week for us to pay attention to a little bit of something. If we hear the familiar tune go over the system, then we know for sure. But if somebody does win the Royal Rumble, I'm going to write off, and it's not The Rock, I'm going to write off the possibility of The Rock being there, because why have somebody that isn't The Rock go against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania unless you anticipate having Roman compete on both nights of WrestleMania? That's just a question, in my opinion. That is still a possibility, but The Rock's presence this week will raise or lower the percentage of the possibility of The Rock being at WrestleMania. So all we have to do is wait until this time next week, and we'll know one way or the other if The Rock will be at WrestleMania or not. But with that being said, I'm done for the day, and I will see you in the next video.